The first thing I feel is fire. Hot, rolling, crawling toward my face as I snap awake, chained to a cold floor. Smoke scraping my throat before I can even breathe. A metal door slams above me, footsteps pounding away, and suddenly the lights flicker on, revealing the basement I've never seen before. My wrists burn against the restraints, and a question hits me harder than the smoke choking the room. If this was just a game... Why am I locked in a real basement? Another thought slams me. Who turned on the furnace? And then, why is there a camera already aimed at me? The flames surge louder, as if something is feeding them, and I catch a reflection in the metal wall. Someone standing behind me just seconds before I woke. But there's no one there now. My heartbeat spikes when a distorted speaker crackles alive. Level 1 begins, a voice says. Survive. But the smoke, it's rising too fast. If Nolan said it was only a game, then whose shadow did I see? And why is the chain tightening instead of loosening? The smoke thins just enough for me to see the chain track on the wall, a metal rail stretching toward a locked hatch that wasn't visible before. My pulse pounds as I drag myself toward it, metal scraping against the floor, each inch feeling like a gamble between burning lungs and hope. Above me, the camera shifts on its own, tracking my movement like a predator adjusting its gaze. I whisper for help, even though I know no one can hear me down here. Then another sound slips through the vents. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, almost amused. I freeze, listening. Whoever is up there wants me to move, wants me to react, wants to see how long before panic fractures me. A question breaks through my fear. If he said the challenge ended last night, then who reset the room for another round? Something clatters behind me. I spin, heart hammering. The hatch lock clicks once, then stops, as if someone is teasing me with a promise of escape. I crawl closer to the hatch, fingers trembling as I reach for the lock, hoping there's some flaw, some weakness, something he overlooked. But a buzzing sound hums through the metal, and the lock retracts just enough to mock me before snapping shut again. I jerk my hand back as a shock of electricity fires through the chain and into my wrists, forcing a cry out of me. The lights above flare bright white, burning through the smoke until the entire room feels exposed, watched, judged. I'm still shaking when a recorded message plays from the speaker, my own voice from last night, laughing, calling it fun, agreeing to keep going. My stomach drops. I never said half those words. Someone edited my voice, stitched it into a script. Another question slams through me. If he can fake my voice this well, what else has he rehearsed? The room quiets, but the tension climbs, like the air is holding its breath with me. A faint beep echoes from the corner of the room, rhythmic and slow, like a countdown just beginning. I turn toward it, spotting a square steel box half buried beneath cables. The red light on its surface pulses calmly, almost gently, and that somehow terrifies me more than anything else. I crawl toward it, each movement stiff, my lungs still burning from the smoke. When I reach it, the light shifts to orange, and the speaker above me clicks on again, silent this time, as if someone is listening rather than speaking. I whisper, "What do you want?" The answer comes in the form of another change. The basement lights dim to near black, leaving me illuminated by only the slow hypnotic pulse of the device. A thought pierces through the darkness. If this is only level 1, what happens when that light turns green? Behind me, a soft scrape breaks the silence. Something else in the room just activated. The floor vibrates beneath me, a low, mechanical rumble rising through the concrete like something massive shifting underground. The orange light flips to green, and the chains on my wrists loosen. Not enough to free myself, but enough to make me move. I push up, wobbling on unsteady legs, scanning the room for whatever just came online. Then a section of the wall slides open with a metallic groan, revealing a narrow corridor, lit by a string of flickering blue LEDs. My stomach tightens. He wants me to enter. He wants to see how far fear can push me. A distorted whisper crawls through the speakers, repeating one chilling phrase. "Choose your direction carefully." I stare at the dark corridor, pulse thrumming. If this is the path he expects me to take, what trap did he set for the one I'm not supposed to find? Another tremor shakes the floor. I step forward because staying still feels even more dangerous. The corridor stretches longer than it should, every flickering blue light making the air feel colder as I inch forward, dragging the loose chain behind me. At the far end, a metal grate clatters shut on its own, locking me inside this new passage. My heart kicks harder when I hear something shifting in the walls. Small motors, gears, metal, grinding like a machine waking up just to watch me. Then a faint message appears projected onto the floor. Find the key. No explanation. No direction. Just 2 words that feel like a countdown. The walls hum louder, and subtle bursts of air shoot across the corridor, pushing me backward, testing my balance. I steady myself, breathing slow, trying to listen beneath the mechanical noise. A thought slices through the confusion. If the key is hidden, what if the trap is designed to trigger when I find it? I steel myself and push deeper into the narrowing passage. The floor panels shift under my weight, dipping subtly like hidden pressure plates waiting for the wrong step. I freeze, lifting my foot slowly. But the panel clicks anyway. Instantly, the corridor lights snap to red, bathing everything in a warning glow. A mechanical whir roars to life behind me, and when I turn, metal spikes extend from the wall, inching forward with slow, deliberate intent, not to kill instantly, but to push me farther inside. Panic shoves me forward, but every step feels like a wager. The walls narrow, the sound of grinding metal closing in. I stumble, nearly falling onto another pressure plate, but catch myself by slamming a hand into the wall. My breath shakes. If these traps are meant to scare me into running, what happens when I stop playing along? Ahead, a small hatch glows faintly, the only pocket of blue light left. I reach the glowing hatch and grip the handle, expecting it to burn or shock me, but it's warm. Almost human warm. I hesitate as the corridor machinery quiets, like the whole space is holding back to watch what I'll do. With a slow breath, I pull the hatch upward. It opens with a hiss, revealing a dark crawl space lined with dust, wires, and something else. Scratches, dozens of them, carved into the metal. Someone tried to claw their way out. My skin pricks with dread as I run my fingers over the marks. Some are deep, some are fresh. A thought hits me so hard I almost drop the hatch. If someone was here before me, why didn't they finish the level? A low hum travels through the crawl space like machinery powering down after completing a command. Something about this space feels wrong. Still, with the corridor tightening behind me, I lower myself inside. The crawl space stretches farther than it seemed from outside, forcing me onto my elbows as the walls tighten around me. Dust clings to my skin, and loose wires brush my arms like dead vines. I keep moving, breath shallow, listening to the silence for any sign of movement ahead. Then my hand slips across something smooth. Plastic, rectangular. I pull it closer. A small ID badge smeared with dirt, the name barely readable. But the photo, the eyes, they're terrified. Someone else played this game. Someone else didn't win. My chest tightens as the implications crash into me. If Nolan planned for me to find this, what message is he sending? Suddenly, the crawl space lights blink on, blinding white. A mechanical voice hums through the tunnel. Player 2 failed this level. Will you? I swallow hard, gripping the badge, forcing myself forward before the lights flicker again. The tunnel opens into a small chamber, barely large enough to stand in. I rise slowly, brushing dust from my knees, the ID badge clenched in my fist. In the center of the chamber hangs a single key, suspended by a thin wire, spinning slightly as if stirred by breath alone. I step toward it cautiously. The air feels charged, like the room is waiting for the wrong move. Just as I reach out, the chamber door slams shut behind me. Locks snap into place. A cold metal vent above me opens with a hiss. The key spins faster. My pulse spikes as I look around for the next trap. If the key is real, what happens the moment I take it? A digital timer illuminates on the wall. 20 seconds. No explanation. No rules. Just time falling away faster than air. I grab the key as the countdown hits 18, and the floor shifts beneath me. The floor shifts beneath me. The chamber floor drops half an inch when I grab the key, jerking my balance and sending a crack of panic through me. I slam a hand against the wall to steady myself just as the timer freezes at 17. A soft chime echoes. Everything goes still. Too still. Then a screen flickers on in front of me. It's footage of me. Except I don't remember saying the words playing from the speakers. I'm smiling, calm, almost excited as I agreed to stay for the full challenge. My stomach twists. It feels wrong, artificial, like someone puppeteering my voice. The screen glitches, replacing my image with a new message. How well do you know yourself? Another video appears. Someone crawling through the same tunnel I just escaped. Same walls, same scratches. Then the screen cuts to black. A distorted laugh fills the room. If he can rewrite my past, what is he planning for my future? The screen switches again, showing a series of symbols. Circles, arrows, lines, like pieces of a map cut apart and rearranged. The timer resumes counting down, but slower now, each second dragging like a taunt. I study the symbols, trying to make sense of them, but the more I look, the more they seem to twist into something else entirely. Patterns, maybe clues, maybe threats. The floor rumbles softly beneath me, urging me to move, but I stay rooted, scanning for meaning. Suddenly, the lights shift to a warmer tone, and the speakers play a different voice. A woman's. Soft, shaking. If anyone sees this, don't trust him. Don't trust anything he shows you. The message cuts abruptly, leaving only static. My heart clenches. If she left that warning, did she survive long enough to escape? Or did he let her speak so I'd hear it? In panic, I clutch the key tighter and back toward the chamber door. A metallic clang echoes above me, followed by a rush of cool air pushing through vents around the chamber. The door unlocks with a sharp click, inviting, or forcing, me to move forward. I grip the key and push through the opening into a room that feels different from the others. Warmer, cleaner, almost staged. A small table sits in the center, holding a cup of water and a note. I approach slowly, each step echoing like a warning. The note reads, "Take a moment. You've earned it." My throat tightens. The water looks clean but too perfectly placed, like bait in a trap. The speakers hum back to life. "You're doing well," Nolan's voice says, disturbingly gentle. Most break sooner. A chill crawls up my spine. If he wants me calm, what is he preparing me for next? I step away from the table, refusing the offer. A sudden grinding sound erupts from beneath the floor, and the table sinks into the ground, swallowed by hidden machinery. The warm lights fade to a sickly yellow as new panels slide open along the walls, revealing rows of screens. Each screen shows a different version of me. Standing, sitting, smiling. Clips from moments I don't remember. The room fills with the sound of my own voice layered over itself in a distorted chorus. My head pounds. Nolan's voice cuts through the noise, Identity is fluid. Yours, most of all. I back away, gripping the key like a weapon, even though it's barely big enough to defend myself. The screens flicker, shifting to footage of other people. Other contestants. Some terrified, some pleading, some silent. If he recorded everything, how many lives has he twisted into this game? The lights cut to black, leaving only the hum of machines. The room lights return in a sharp flash, revealing a single door on the far wall, newly unlocked. I step closer, but the speakers crackle again, this time with a softer, trembling voice I recognize instantly. Harper! Mia! If you can hear this. I think I found him. My heart freezes. I press closer to the nearest monitor, but her voice cuts to static before I can hear more. Panic surges through me, sharp and sudden. If Harper found his location, did he let her? Or did she walk into a trap meant for both of us? The door slides open before I can think, revealing a narrow bridge suspended over dark. A cold draft sweeps through, carrying the faint smell of dirt and machinery. My pulse thunders. Harper's voice was real, and now Nolan knows she's coming. I take the first step onto the bridge, knowing the stakes just double. The metal bridge sways under my weight, each step groaning like the bolts are loosening, just to see if I'll turn back. The darkness beneath stretches into a pit so deep, the air feels colder above it, rising in slow breaths that brush against my skin. Halfway across, a faint hum starts, low, vibrating through the railings. I freeze, gripping the metal as the bridge trembles with growing intensity. Then a projector on the far side flickers on, casting a blurry image onto the opposite wall. Harper's face. She's mid-sentence, lips moving, no sound coming through. My heart slams against my ribs. The image flickers again. Then she's gone. Replaced by Nolan's outline. A voice echoes through hidden speakers, calm and cruel. Which one do you think will reach you first? My stomach twists as the bridge shudders again. I step forward, voice shaking as I whisper to myself, "Then I'll break the rules before he breaks me." The bridge stabilizes only once I step onto the next platform, a circular metal pad surrounded by narrow pipes hissing out cold vapor. A single spotlight clicks on above me, trapping me in a bright cylinder of light. Then I hear it. Footsteps, not Nolan's. Softer. Hesitant. Coming from the tunnel ahead, my breath catches as a shape appears. Small, hunched, moving slow. But something feels wrong. The figure pauses just outside the light, trembling like it's afraid of being seen. I squint, trying to make out details, when the speakers crackle again. "Don't trust the shadows," Nolan whispers. The figure freezes, then collapses to its knees. I inch closer, heart pounding. It lifts its head, and I see it's not a person at all. A mannequin, reassembled from broken parts, its head tilted unnaturally. A message is carved into its arm. Not everything that moves is alive. A chill runs through me as the pipes hiss louder. Past the mannequin, the tunnel widens into a room lined with mirrored panels on every wall, floor to ceiling, reflecting my movements into dozens of copies. My pulse drums as each reflection flickers slightly out of sync, lagging half a second behind. I move my hand slowly. Every reflection mimics it except one. My breath stutters as I focus on the anomaly. That version of me stands perfectly still, eyes locked on mine, not moving, not breathing. Then the lights dim, plunging the room into shadows while leaving only my frozen reflection fully illuminated. My stomach tightens as a whisper fills the room, too close to be a speaker. Which one is real? I back away, but the reflections close in, bending and shifting around me. If he wants me to break, he chose the right place. I force a steady breath, close my eyes, and step toward the still reflection. The moment my foot crosses the threshold toward the still reflection, every mirror snaps dark, plunging me into pitch-black silence. My throat tightens as I extend a hand blindly, feeling only cold air. Then a soft scrape echoes behind me. I spin, unable to see anything, but the sound creeps closer. Slow, deliberate, circling me. My breath shakes. Another scrape. Another. The room pulses with the feeling of something watching from the dark. I force myself still, listening, mapping the echoes. Then, a single mirror lights up behind me, showing a live feed, not a reflection. Harper. She's outside Nolan's farmhouse, flashlight cutting through fog. My heart launches upward, but before I can see more, the image distorts and Nolan's voice replaces it. She found the door. How long will she last? Rage rips through me. If he wants to see how far I can bend, he's about to find out. The mirrors flare back to life all at once, flooding the room with harsh light. More. Disoriented, I shield my eyes, and when my vision clears, every reflection shows me standing in a different posture, fearful, angry, defeated, terrified, like fragments of who I could become. Nolan's voice slithers through the air. Break is coming. Which version of you survives it? The ground beneath the mirror splits open, revealing a narrow exit. I rush toward it, ducking under jagged metal edges, heart pounding as I squeeze through the tight gap. The passage opens into a stairwell leading upward, toward Harper, toward air, toward whatever comes next. I pause, gripping the rail, whispering a promise into the dark. You won't decide who I become. Then I climb, knowing each step brings me closer to the final confrontation, and the truth he's been hiding since the beginning. The stairwell shakes under my feet as I climb, each step ringing like the whole structure is holding its breath. A cold draft rushes down from above, carrying the faint scent of soil and old wood, closer to the surface than I've been since waking up chained to that floor. My pulse quickens. At the landing, a heavy metal door blocks the way, sealed with a rusted latch. I wedge the key between the bolts and twist hard. It snaps. Not the key, but something inside the lock. The door groans open an inch, spilling light into the stairwell. I push it wider and step into an old storage room filled with crates and tools. A single camera in the corner pivots, tracking me. Nolan's voice echoes overhead. You're ahead of schedule. My throat tightens. If he expected me here, then what trap starts the moment I touch anything? I spot a metal hook on a nearby crate. I grab it anyway. A metal alarm clicks somewhere behind the walls. I freeze, listening as a soft hum grows louder, steady, and mechanical. The crates around me vibrate slightly, dust raining off the lids. I back toward the far wall, gripping the hook like a lifeline. Then the lights flicker red, and a countdown appears on a panel above the door. I just came through. 19 seconds. The room feels suddenly smaller. I spot a vent grate near the floor, screwed in tight but rusted around the edges. If I move fast enough, maybe, just maybe, I can pry it open. I drop to my knees and jam the hook under the metal lip. The vent squeals as I wrench it upward. 12 seconds. A cold wind blasts through, pulling dust into the tunnel beyond. 8 seconds. I crawl halfway inside when the speaker hums to life. You escape so beautifully. My heart slams as the countdown hits 5. I squeeze into the vent just as the timer hits 0. A deafening bang erupts behind me. Wood splintering, crates exploding, metal shrieking apart. The force blasts hot air through the tunnel, pushing me forward violently. I scramble deeper, elbows scraping raw against the metal. The vent twists sharply, forcing me into tighter and tighter angles. Behind me, debris crashes into the ductwork. The explosion wasn't meant to kill me. It was meant to trap me inside the only escape route I had. My lungs burn as I drag myself through the narrowing space. Then I reach a fork. Left path blocked by fallen metal. Right path disappearing into deeper darkness. The air grows colder. A faint draft brushes my skin. If he wants me to choose blindly, which direction leads out and which leads to another trap, I drag myself right. The vent opens abruptly into a vertical shaft. Cold air floods upward, carrying the smell of damp soil and fresh night air. My chest tightens. This is close to the outside. Rungs line the wall, rusty but intact. I grip the first one and pull myself up, muscles shaking. Halfway up, a grinding sound echoes from below. A panel slides open, and a metal blade begins rising toward me like a slow-moving guillotine built into the floor. I climb faster, feet slipping on rust. The blade rises steady, unhurried, confident I can't reach the top in time. My hands burn. My breath shreds in my throat. I scramble to the last rung when a metal hatch suddenly locks above me. Panic crushes my chest. The blade is seconds away. I slam my shoulder into the hatch, praying something gives. It doesn't. If this is the end, it's only because I stop fighting. I start kicking the latch. At the last possible second, the latch snaps. Whether from my kicks or luck, I don't know. The hatch bursts open, and I haul myself out, rolling onto dirt and dead leaves. Real air hits my lungs for the first time since the basement, cold and sharp enough to sting. I scramble up, turning in a quick circle. I'm outside, but not free. A high wooden fence surrounds the entire yard, boards reinforced with steel plates. Floodlights flicker on, bathing everything in harsh white. A speaker near the tree line crackles. Run! I stiffen. Something shifts in the brush behind me. Fast, low, mechanical. My legs move before my mind does, sprinting toward the far end of the yard. If he released something out here with me, what is hunting me now? Branches snap behind. Whatever it is, it's gaining. The mechanical creature crashes through the bushes behind me, metal limbs scraping dirt, gears screaming with every stride. I dart toward the fence, searching for any weakness, any gap I can slip through. But every plank is reinforced, every bolt tightened. My lungs burn as I sprint across the yard, heart pounding in my throat. A sudden clang rings out. The thing leaps, slamming into the ground inches behind me. I skid to the side, rolling across dead leaves, barely avoiding its snapping metal jaw. A floodlight burns out with a pop, plunging half the yard into darkness. I scramble up the incline near a wooden shed, hoping for cover. The shed door hangs open just enough for me to slip inside. I dive through and slam it shut, pressing my back to the wood. The creature's steps slow outside, sniffing the ground. If I stay here, it'll find. But running blind might be even worse. I grip the hinges, bracing for impact. The shed shudders as the creature slams against the door, its claws scraping deep grooves into the wood. I stumble backward, scanning the shadows for anything usable. Tools line the walls. Rusty saws, broken axes, coils of wire. But one object catches my eye. A long metal rod, heavy and solid. I grab it just as the door splinters inward, shards flying across the shed. The creature lunges, its sensors glowing like cold eyes. I swing with everything I have. The rod smashes into its head, knocking it sideways with a burst of sparks. It reents instantly, body twitching as gears click back into place. I step toward the back window, trying to climb through, but it's sealed shut with steel mesh. The creature charges again, faster this time. My pulse spikes. If I can't break out, then I'll break it first. The creature lunges again and I swing the rod upward, slamming it into the joint of its front limb. Metal bends with a sharp crack, forcing the creature to collapse sideways. It thrashes, trying to regain balance. I don't wait. I dart behind it, jamming the rod into another joint. Sparks explode. The machine screeches in a grinding metallic howl. Then its sensors flicker. A voice echoes from its speaker. Nolan's voice. "You're learning. My blood chills. I duck as the creature swings wildly, its movements less precise now, more chaotic. A panel on its back swings open from the impact, revealing tangled wires. I leap onto its frame and yank one hard. The creature convulses and collapses completely, lights dying out. I stagger off it, heart racing. If Nolan wanted to test me, he just learned I'm not breaking. I step outside the shed, only to hear footsteps approaching from the house. I slip out of the shed just as a door in the farmhouse creaks open. Harper's voice echoes faintly from inside, soft, cautious, terrified. My chest tightens. She made it this far. I break into a run toward the porch, but the floodlights snap back on with brutal force, blinding me. Nolan's voice echoes across the yard, amplified through hidden speakers. 2 players in the same arena. Let's see who reaches the truth first. A bolt of fear strikes me. Harper doesn't know what he's built out here. I sprint harder, dodging fallen branches and broken boards. The farmhouse door swings wider. A silhouette stands in the frame. For a second, my breath stops. I can't tell if it's Harper or Nolan. The figure steps forward, flashlight beam cutting through the glare. It's her! For the first time since this nightmare started, I see someone I trust. But before I reach her, the ground beneath me shifts. The ground collapses under my feet before I can shout a warning. I drop straight down, slamming onto a dirt slope that sends me sliding into darkness. I claw at the soil, trying to stop myself, but momentum yanks me deeper underground. I crash onto a hard floor, gasping, ears ringing. Lights snap on overhead. Soft, clinical, too bright. I push myself upright. I'm in another chamber, larger than the others, lined with screens. They all activate at once. On each one, Harper stands alone in the yard, confused, calling my name. Nolan's voice fills the room. You brought her here. Now let's see what you do with the consequences. My stomach turns. I sprint to the nearest ladder welded to the wall, but the rungs retract into the metal. A cage drops from the ceiling, sealing me inside. He separated us on purpose. And whatever comes next, he wants me to watch. I grab the bars, refusing to break. The cage slams against the floor, metal echoing like a closing verdict. I force my hands around the bars, shaking them hard, but they barely rattle. Above me, screens flicker between Harper pacing the yard and Nolan walking through some unseen control room. Calm like this is a routine experiment. My breath sharpens as I scan the chamber for any weakness. Then I see it. A small hinge near the cage base, barely welded, maybe damaged during the fall. I drop to my knees, fingers digging at the seam. Sparks fall from the ceiling as the lights dim and rise again. Nolan's voice spills from the speakers. Last level, Mia. Don't disappoint me now. Rage ignites in my chest. He wants a performance. He wants a finale. I'll give him something he never planned for. I wedge my fingers deeper and hear the hinge creak. For the first time, something in his creation begins to break. The hinge pops once, loud enough to echo across the chamber. I freeze, waiting for alarms or doors or Nolan's voice, but nothing happens. He's watching, though. I can feel it. I slip both hands into the widening gap and push with everything I have. Metal groans, bending slowly. My arms tremble. Sweat streaks down my face. Then, with a guttural crack, one bar snaps free. Air rushes through the opening. I pull back, bracing myself, then squeeze through the jagged space, scraping my shoulder as I fall onto the concrete. The speakers crackle. Clever, Nolan murmurs. But you're late. My stomach twists. On the screens, Harper stands at the back of the farmhouse, just steps from a trapdoor sliding open beneath her feet. I run toward the chamber door. Locked. A small panel beside it flashes red. If I can't get out, she's walking straight into whatever he planned. I slam my fist into the panel beside the door. It flickers, then displays a single phrase. Answer correctly. A distorted tone plays, followed by Nolan's voice reading a riddle. I don't listen. I don't have time. Instead, I rip the snapped cage bar from the floor and swing it like a sledge, smashing the panel. Sparks fly, lights flicker, and the door jerks upward halfway. Enough for me to roll through. I sprint into a narrow passage lit by pulsing red strobes. The ground vibrates with heavy machinery powering up. The speakers screech with static as Nolan's calm starts to crack. Don't interfere, Mia. I push harder, forcing air into my burning lungs. The passage ends in a small maintenance hall with ladders leading upward. A draft drifts down. Fresh air, night air. And above that, a shadow. Harper, standing right over the trapeze, trying to open beneath her. I climb the ladder 3 rungs at a time, muscles screaming, breath ripping out in sharp bursts. Above, Harper kneels to inspect the ground, confused by the vibration rising under her palms. I reach the grate and slam my shoulder into it. Once, twice. It gives on the 3rd hit and bursts upward, sending dust spraying across the yard. Mia! Harper gasps, stumbling back. There's no time to explain. A hydraulic whine cuts through the night as the trapdoor splits beneath her. I lunge forward, grabbing her wrist just as the boards drop away. Her scream tears through the air as I anchor myself against the edge, pulling her up with every ounce of strength I have left. For a second, we hang there, suspended between survival and freefall. Then the boards slam shut beneath us. Nolan's voice echoing in fury. You weren't supposed to save her. Harper collapses into my arms, shaking but alive. For the first time since this nightmare began, the world feels real again. Not a trap, not a test, but 2 people fighting back. Nolan's voice blares from every speaker around the yard, furious and cracking under pressure. You ruined the design, he snarls. Floodlights flicker wildly as machinery malfunctions behind the walls. Harper grabs my hand. Where is he? I point toward the farmhouse. Together we run, pushing through broken boards and tangled brush. Inside, monitors glitch, sparks flying from the control panels. A distant door slams, Nolan retreating deeper into his maze. But this time, we're not playing. We follow the sound, breath tight, footsteps echoing in unison. At the end of a dim hallway, a single control room door stands open, light spilling out. Nolan waits inside, and we step forward together.